until this point, up until this point, you've always thought of volume as being what? Anybody? Right. Now, you did volume equals length times width times height. But what you need to understand with this is that this formula is only good for rectangular prisms. It only works with rectangular prisms, or boxes, cubes, things like that. Today, we learned something brand spanking kind of new because we want to be able to find volume for any prism. And we'll do any prism. Now here is, I wish I could make you more excited about this and give you some sort of sugar to make you focus on this, because it's kind of a long drawn out process actually. Here is the formula for any prism. Just a long dramatic pause that most people have. Volume equals, by the way, this is the volume for any prism. Here's the short and condensed formula, by the way. Capital B times H. Somebody asked the question that you're dying to hear.
What does the B and H stand for?
Interesting you should ask that.
What does the B and H stand for?
The capital B, ladies and gentlemen, you have to get this point here. By the way, these two, B and H, we've talked about B and H before. We just said B and H have to be perpendicular to each other, and that's true for this too. But in this case, this big letter B stands for the area of the base. That's what the B is. And the H stands for the height of the shape, which, as a little side note, must be, oh boy, the height must be perpendicular to the base. I can't do that right. And we shall explore this. This gets a little crazy. For those of you that are lazy and like to do things quickly, this will not be your kind of thing, and you'll get most of these wrong just because you're lazy. Let's take a look at a shape, shall we?
We shall.
Let's say you've got this triangular prism. I'm not really good at drawing triangular prisms, but I shall do what I can do.
It's okay.
I am not here to impress you. Oh, let's do some easy measurements here, shall we?
We shall.
Let's say this is 8 inches. This is 15 inches. And this is 10 inches. Oh, and why not? Let's just throw something else in there. Let's say that this is what? 13 inches.
Wait, what is 13?
The hypotenuse of that right triangle. Okay, here we go. Ready? Take a deep breath. Take a look at yourself. Don't you want to be somebody? Triangular prism. Maybe I should have thought of that before we do that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta have something here. There's gotta be a triangular prism here somewhere.
Is it by the penny?
Somebody take my triangle.
So sad. Andrew. No, Andrew. No, Joseph.
No, we made it.
No, that would be it. Alright. Cancel the stunning visuals. Here we go. So, if you're given this problem, the first thing you do is obviously sketch the problem, right, Joseph?
Yes.
It would help if you used a ruler, but it helps if you that's well past anything you're possible. Second thing you would do is write this formula down. The volume equals BH. Now, the first thing you have to figure out is what in the wide world of sports is the base of this shape. Now, please get it out of your mind, and I think we've talked about this before. Maybe we haven't. Usually when people think about bases, they think about the bottom of something, and that's not always the case with a rectangular prism or any prism, right? In fact, the base is not this bottom rectangle, all right? The base, and here, I've come up with this all on my own. Nobody helped me with this. I think I've told you this before. When you see this big letter B, you want to figure out what the base is. I like to use what I like to call the, anybody? Loaf of bread theory. We've talked about this, haven't we not?
With surface area.
Yes. In order to figure out what the base is, you have to think about this as a loaf of bread, and you're trying to make a sandwich out of it, and you need to get pieces that would match up with each other. What shape would that be? And you don't want to use the bottom. I mean, if you sliced it like this, you're going to get rectangles, but they keep getting smaller. So up here, they would just be a line. If you shaved it like, I don't know, what other way could I do?
Slanted.
I don't know what. Anyways, the base of this shape is, Grace, what is the shape?
The triangle.
It is the triangle. In this case, the base is the triangle. I should draw a little color here. A little color. Here is my base. So and then the second thing I would think about is this. If the height has to be perpendicular to the base, what is the height of this? And maybe it would help you to think about, you need to turn this, and if you turn it and set it on its base, how tall would it be? Don't tell me the height is 10, because it is not. Not of the shape. The height of the triangle actually is going to be 10, but not of this shape. If you take this shape, put it on its base, make it perpendicular to the base, Leighton, the height is 15, because it's this part. When I flip it over, it would be that tall. And maybe it would help you to write that 15 in here right off the bat, so that you know. You're going to multiply the area of the base times 15. You just need to figure out what the area of the base is. So then, in addition to having this formula, sometimes you're going to need the formula for the area of the base. In a triangle, area is 1/2 base times height. And this is where things get confusing, because this B and H is not that B and H. This B and H is of the base. This is of the whole three-dimensional prism thing. So what's the area of my triangle? Well, it is the two lines that form the right angle, 8 times 10. Half of 8 times 10. Half of 80 is 40. So that 40 is the area of the base, which goes right here. And then the total volume of this shape is what you get when you multiply 40 times 15, which is what, 600, I believe. And that is inches cubed. And I don't know how to get you to take all the time it's going to need to do this and keep yourself organized, because some of you, when the math book gives you a 2-part problem, can only do one of the 2 parts because you can't remember to do the second part of it. Where this has how many parts to it, and you got to figure out the volume, you got to write the formula down, and there's another formula for that. Can you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you have to, when you see these volume problems, you really got to look at it and go, that's going to be a job. Wait, do we do a hard one now? Should we do a hard one?
Yeah.
Let's do hard.
No, a hard one.
Let's go right for the juggler. Take a look at this shape right here. Watch this. See if you can draw this one, because I don't know if I can. It is a somewhat barny shape. What do I have to do here? I should have an outline. Does that work?
It
It kind of got lost in the shuffle there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Let me try that again. Maybe I'll do it like this. See if this works. I don't like doing this because I'm not very good at it. Boink, 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 boink. I don't like it, but I'll try it. Copy that. I take my little shape and I move them over here. I put it there.
Yeah.
Put it here.
I think that's good. That's good.
And then connect this,
That
this,
looks better.
with this,
Oh.
this, this. We still got some shapes that are not coming together. This should be dashed, right? This should be dashed. This should be dashed.
Good job.
No. I don't know what. Now for some dimensions. Let's make it easy. Let's go with well. Let's say this is 10. Let's say this is 10. This is 20. Let's make this 8. And then we also need this. I need a dash line that tells me how high this is. How high should that be? 6. Good call. Are you ready? Do I need any more dimensions? So let's say we were doing this problem. What would be the first thing you do? Draw it. Second thing you would do is, what is my formula for the volume? What is the formula?
Base times height.
Yeah, big B times height. Alright. Now you need to figure out what is the shape of the loaf of bread. What is that shape there? You have to call it is a what?
House.
Okay. So we need the volume is going to equal the area of the house.
It was the first thing that came to mind, okay?
Times the height. And again, right here, I would automatically put, what is the height of that shape? What is the height
20.
of the shape?
20.
Oh, we got 8s and we got 20s out here. Somebody pick it.
20.
You have to set it on the house and see how tall it is. Somebody say 7.
Chase. You can do a 7 for the one problem forever. Oh my god. 7.
Alright, so you know in the end, after you find the area of the house, you're going to multiply it by 20. I do it that right away because otherwise you'll get so lost in trying to figure out the area of the house that in the end you'll forget to multiply by 20 just because, well, 7th graders. That's what we do. It might not be a bad idea for you at this point to actually sketch out the house with its dimensions. It looks like this, in small, whatever form. This was 10, this is 8, and unfortunately the house is made up of a couple different shapes that you're going to have to find out. This was 6. What is the area of the rectangular part of Mr. House? 80. And then look, here I got to figure out what the area of that triangle is. But again, that's 1/2 base times height. Well, my base is 10, my height is 6, so 1/2 of 10 times 6 is 30. I put those two together and I get
120.
110, I believe.
Oh,
Alright, so that 110 is what goes in here. Now to find the volume of the whole house, you're going to have to take 110 and multiply it by 20. 2,200, let's call it. Whoa, what in the world?
Whoa. Cool.
I have no idea what all that is. What were these? Feet cubed. Got that?
Yes.
How many people think that they're capable of this? I'll believe it when I see it. Some of you are gonna say, well, I got the 110, but I forgot to multiply it. Enough of that. Now I need you to take out a new piece of paper. Well, yes. No, yes. Yes. And on this one, write cylinders. And on the underneath of it, write volume. The volume of a cylinder is identical to what we just did, except I'm going to give you the things because it's just easier that way. Maybe you'll understand it, maybe you won't. If you look at a cylinder, let's draw one. I am actually going to give you the specific formula for this. If you remember this here, you can write this down. Volume equals the area of the base times the height. It still works for cylinders, but we're just going to write down what that would actually mean. First of all, what is the base of a cylinder? What shape is the base of a cylinder? It's a circle. And what's the area of a circle?
Volume.
Pi times radius times radius. So here's going to be our formula we're writing. The volume of a cylinder is going to equal, the area of the base is pi times radius, and then you just have to do the height. So this is what, no matter what the cylinder is, it's not going to change. It's always going to look like this. So pi times radius times height. And because you're 7th graders, quite often the book will tell you, because these numbers can get kind of big, that you can leave it in terms of pi. What does that mean? You just write the pi and you don't have to multiply by the 3.14 or the 22/7 or whatever it is. So if you're looking at this cylinder, the only thing you need to know on the cylinder are 2 dimensions. You need to know its radius and its height. What's the radius of this bad boy? It is not 5. I hope it's 10. Half of the diameter. If this is the diameter, radius would go halfway, which is 10. So it's pi times 10 times 10, and then what's the height? Times 30. So in terms of pi, it would be 10 times 10 times 30? 3,000 pi's. 3,000 pi. Which really wouldn't be that bad a multiplication, but we'll just leave it like that. And it is also in cubic inches, so inches cubed. That doesn't sound so bad, does it, Soph? Your question would be?
What if we didn't put a capital?
I don't know.
Did you count it wrong? Yes.
Probably not. I don't know. Are you afraid of the capital B? Do you have something against capital B?
No.
It's the world. I don't know. I've never experienced somebody not wanting to do a capital B. It's a whole new world for me.
I'm sorry.
All right, I'm tired of talking. So, ladies and gents, you are going to do problemos 4 through 10 on lesson 76. 4 through 10.